Okay, you all are welcome to tonight's session. So let's start with GBP USD. So my bias on GBP USD this week is bullish. So like I said, we need to start with the weekly time frame. Okay, so what do we have on the weekly? Last week, that's the previous week, we had what looks like a shooting star. And this past week, I was expecting GU to buy. Okay, but it sold. Okay, so I think they've already hunted for the stop losses at this level. You would also see that this low was a previous resistance turn support. You can see that. Okay, so the last week candle couldn't break this low, right? It respected this to daily. What do we have on daily? If on daily we have a bullish setup on daily, it means this week GBP USD will be bullish. So let's see what we have. You can see what we have on GBP USD. This is an inverted hammer, which indicates change in trend from bearish to bullish. So after the close of Friday candle, we had a support here. If this support is broken, then we should expect GU to be bearish. If this support is broken, if 4-hour candle closes below this support, there's a probability that GU will keep falling. Okay, but if a resistance is broken, so the resistance for last week market, this was the resistance for last week market. So if this resistance is broken, then we should expect GU to be bullish this week. If this resistance is broken, we could also go down to 4-hour to identify the resistance. So we had a recent resistance on 4-hour. This is the resistance on daily. Okay, so since there's a high probability for price to continue in its bullish move, if this resistance is broken, one could look for buy opportunity above this resistance. If you go back here, you will see we had a support which has become a resistance. You can see this is a support. This is also a support. This support or this resistance is the reason for the rejection at this level. So if this resistance is broken, one could risk buying GU. Okay, so wait for a bullish candle to close above this resistance before you consider buying. I would have said patiently wait for price or a candle to close above this level before you buy. But if you wait for price to get to this level before you buy, this is where you set your stop loss. If you buy from this level, let's assume a candle close at this level, your stop loss will be at this level. This risk is too high, 128 pips. But if you buy above this zone, if a 4-hour candle closes above this zone and you buy, your risk will be as low as maybe 50. Let's say a candle closes at this level, you decide to buy, you can see your risk will be around 5160 pips. Okay, 5160 pips. And by the time price gets to this level, you would have made a profit of 65 pips. Can you see that? So I would suggest, okay, buying above this zone. Now, before you jump in and buy above this zone, after the candlestick closes above this zone, go to 15 minutes or 5 minutes. Go to 15 minutes or 5 minutes time frame. Now, on 15 minutes or 5 minutes time frame, you should ensure that you have a bullish structure. Ensure that you have a bullish structure on 15 minutes or 5 minutes time frame. Let's go to 15 minutes and see what we have on 15 minutes. So you can see on 15 minutes, what we have here is a bearish structure, right? This is the last lower low. We had lower high here. You can see from this point, the structure has been broken. You can see this engulfing candle broke out from this lower high. Can you see this? So the structure has been broken here. Can you see this? So what we have here is a bullish structure at the moment. Okay. But like I said, wait for a candle to close above this zone, or wait for a candle to close above this high of this candle. Are you with me? So that's my take on GU. This week, I'm looking for buy setups on GU. Okay. I'm looking for buy setups. But like I said, if the support on the daily is broken, we should expect more bearish move on GU. This week, we have several major news that will be released this week. Okay. So if this support is broken, you might want to sell. But like I said, my bias is bullish. So I'm only interested in bullish setup. Okay. And I've shared with you where I will be considering buying if a candlestick closes above this resistance zone. That will be my first entry. Okay. That will be my first entry. And if this level is broken, I could execute more trades. I will have more volume to the trade. I hope that is clear. So that's my take on GU. If my bias on GU is bullish, then I expect Australian dollar USD, New Zealand USD, and Euro USD to be bullish. So let's look at Australian dollar USD charts. Australian dollar USD, or let's look at Euro USD before we look at Australian dollar USD. So the first time frame we'll look at is the weekly. Very important. You use the weekly time frame to define the trend of the market. Okay, so the previous week we had what looks like an hammer or a doji. Okay, we had what looks like a doji, so it was expected for price to start going up after the formation of this hammer. But as you know, most retail traders have their stop loss at this level. So I think last week move was to hunt for the stop losses at that level. Okay, last week move was to hunt for the stop losses at this level. So it's likely they will still push price down to this level. Another thing you need to take notice of here is this previous equal low. Can you see it? There are a lot of stop losses and sell stop orders at this level. So it is likely they want to sweep liquidity at this level. It is very possible. So the setup we have here is still a bearish setup. Don't jump in and buy. Don't jump in and buy. You can't execute buy now. So it's possible they will push price to clear this stop losses at this level. Okay, so like I've always said, before you execute a buy, there has to be a bullish candlestick formation before you buy. You cannot be seeing a bearish candlestick and execute a buy trade. There has to be a bullish candlestick confirming that there are buyers in the market. Okay, so let's go down to daily. What do we have here on daily? Last week, this was our resistance. We also had a resistance at this level. Okay, so like if you go back here, you would see it was a previous resistance on support, okay, which became a resistance at this level. Okay, so if you are considering buying, you should wait for a candle to close above this resistance. If you are considering buying, wait for a candle to close above this resistance. Okay, let's go down to, okay, on daily, we have, these are supports here. We had a support here. Okay, so if this support zone is broken, if this support zone is broken, we should expect more bearish move on Euro USD. So it's either the support is broken or resistance is broken. If resistance is broken, we want to buy. And if support is broken, we should expect more bearish move on Euro USD. But my bias on Euro USD is bullish this week. So I'm more interested in buy setups than sell setup. Okay, so that's my take on Euro USD. I will be considering buying above this level and probably sell below this level. But like I said, I'm not interested in selling GU at this price. These are the areas I should have sold. This level, if I missed this level, I should have entered sell at this level. As far as I'm concerned, entry sell at this level for me is at a higher risk. If I want to sell, price should pull back. I should see price pull back to Fibonacci level 50 at least, 50, 61.8 or 79.00. That's the area I will consider selling. There has to be a pullback. I can't jump in and start selling at the current market price. The risk will be too high. Okay, so that's my take on Euro USD. The next pair is Australian dollar USD. So let's start with the weekly. Everything indicates that the bears are still in control. Okay, you can see the bears are still in control. Okay, now it could be that last week move was to hunt for the stop losses at this level, this low, relative equal low. Okay, so if a bullish candlestick forms after this bearish candle, one could consider buying. And if this support zone is broken, there is a high probability that price will keep dropping. The bearish move would continue. But like I've always said, I wouldn't be selling below this level. If I had wanted to sell Australian dollar USD, I should have entered sell at this level after the close of this candle, this bullish candle. That would have been my first entry. If I had missed entering at this level, at least I should have joined the trend at this level. Okay, so I can't sell at the current market price. I can't sell. Okay, if I'm to sell, let me apply Fibonacci. Price should pull back to level, at least level 50 before I'll consider selling, or level 61.8. That is when I'll consider selling. Because if I'm selling from these levels, my risk will be very small. My risk will be very small. Okay, so I'm waiting for a pullback. That's my take on Australian dollar USD. I expect price to pull back to level 50 or level 61.8. So what I'm looking out for is a candlestick formation. A bullish reversal candlestick formation should form on daily or 4-hour time frame. That's when I will consider selling. Now we have what we call, this is a breaker block. This is a breaker block. If you want to buy, you could wait for price, a candle to close above this breaker block, which is how many pips from the current market price? Let's see. That's about 95 pips. 95 pips. That risk is high. So if the next candlestick closes bullish, let's go to 4-hour. So you can see on 4-hour, we had This is another breaker block on 4 hour. This, okay? On daily, we had it at this level, right? So you should go in with the 4 hour time frame. If a 4 hour candle closes above that breaker block on 4 hour, you can execute a buy trade. Okay, as you can see, the last 4 hour candle closed as what? This is a spinning bottom. It closed as a spinning bottom, but I would suggest you wait for a candle to close above this high before you consider buying. Now, when the candle closes above this high, go to 15 minutes or 5 minutes time frame to confirm there is a break of structure from bearish structure to bullish structure. Go to those lower time frame. Don't just jump in and start buying because there's a breakout from a resistance. Go to 15 minutes or 5 minutes to confirm that the structure you have there is a bullish structure or there's a break of structure from bearish to bullish. So you can see what we have here. This is a bearish structure. This is lower low, right? Lower high, lower low. So if this lower high, you can see, and that's the breaker block on 4 hour, you can see the line. So if a candlestick closes above this high, it indicates change in structure or change of character from bearish to bullish. You can see. So there's a confluence at this level, break of structure and also break of resistance. Okay, so you have double confirmation at this level. So patiently wait for price to close above on 5 minutes. This is 5 minutes, okay, 15 minutes. We have a breaker here. This is another breaker block. Okay, so one can also decide to execute buy if a 4 hour candle closes above this level. But if you wait for it to close above this level, that is 4 hour and 15 minutes are in agreement. Can you see that? If a candle closes above this level, it means 4 hour and 15 minutes time frame are in agreement. So that would be a good time to consider buying Australian dollar USD. Okay, let's move to the next pair, New Zealand USD. You're all welcome. I'll take your questions. So we'll start with the weekly time frame. So last week was strongly bearish. So with what we have on this chart, the New Zealand USD is still bearish. The bears are still in control. We cannot buy. We cannot buy New Zealand USD. Okay. So it could be that last week, what they did was to push price down to hunt for the stop losses at this low. So it could be that was what played out last week. Okay, for us to confirm if this breakout from this low is valid or not, we need to wait for the next candle to close bullish. If the next candle closes bullish, then we could see price push up from this level. I hope you are following. So I expect price to pull back. You should apply your Fibonacci 2 from the swing high to swing low. Let's go to daily. Okay, so from the swing high to swing low. So we should see price pull back to at least level 50. You could break level 50 and aim for 61.8, but at least we should see price pull back to these levels before we consider selling. If you didn't sell at this level, if you didn't sell after this pullback, if you didn't sell after this pullback here, which is even late entry, why would you want to sell at this point when the market has done over how many pips from this point? 300 and 94 pips. Why would you want to enter sell after the market has done 395 pips? That wouldn't be a good investment. That risk would be too high. Okay, so if you are even considering selling, if your bias is still bearish, wait for price to pull back, then look for a bearish reversal candlestick before you enter sell. To not be wise to sell at the current market price. Let's see what we have on 4 hour. You can see on 4 hour, we had inverted hammer, which is a bearish inverted hammer. And after the formation of a bearish inverted hammer, you have to wait for the next candle to close bullish, right? Before you execute a buy trade. And what do we have here? The last 4 hour candle closed bullish, which indicates that buyers are showing up in the market, and we could see price start going up from this current market price. But I would suggest or advise, if this was a Tuesday setup, I would have said you should jump in and start buying. Okay, if this was a Tuesday setup, but tomorrow is Monday, we know how the our price behaves on Monday. Most times it's very unpredictable. It's very erratic. Okay, so you should wait. I would suggest you wait for price. We have a resistance here. This is 1 hour time frame. Wait for a 4 hour candle to close above this zone before you consider buying. That's my take on New Zealand USD. Wait for a candle to close above this zone before you consider buying New Zealand USD. Okay, so that's my take on New Zealand USD. Which other pair? USD CAD. USD CAD, we should expect a bearish move on USD CAD. Let's see what we have on USD CAD. On USD CAD, we have, okay, let's start with the weekly. Okay, good. You see what we have on USD CAD? Okay. We had a previous support at this level, which became a resistance. Okay, so price tested that level. There was a rejection from that level. Price pulled back from that level. So let's go down to daily. What do we have on daily? Okay, so last week candle closed as a doji. It closed as a doji. Can you see that? And if you go back here, can you see what we had here? We had a previous, this is a resistance. See what we had here? You can see at this level, it was a support, some resistance. If you go back here, you would see it was a support here, which became a resistance. And I'm sure that is the reason for the rejection at this level. Can you see? So I'm looking for sell opportunity on USD CAD. You could also see the last 4 hour candle. This is an hanging man. Can you see that? This is what? An hanging man, indicating change in trend from bullish to bearish. So at what price should we consider selling? I would be considering selling below a support. So we had a support here. This was a support. Then we had another support here. Okay, so I would be considering selling USD CAD if a 4 hour candle closes in between these levels. If a 4 hour candle closes in between these levels or this zone, I would consider selling USD card. Let's go back to daily. You see on daily or weekly. Okay, let's go to weekly. On weekly, you would notice we have relative equal lows at this level. So we have a lot of stop losses and sell stop orders at this level. So I think this is where price is heading to. This is where price is heading to. But if this resistance is broken, as you can see, we also had equal highs. Can you see it here? So we have stop losses at this level, and we have buy stop orders at this level. So they might want to sweep liquidity at this level or this level. So if this resistance is broken, we could see price push up to this level. And if the support is broken, we could see price drop to this zone. That's my take on technically USD card is bearish. USD card is supposed to sell this coming week. But like I said, we have a lot of fundamental, a lot of major news that will be released this week, which could influence price action. Okay, but technically, USD card is expected to be bearish this week. So the last pair is USD CHF. If you have any pair you want us to look at, please just drop it in the comment space. USD CHF. If there's any pair you want us to analyze, drop it in the comment space. As you know, Euro USD and USD CHF are negatively correlated. So if you're looking for buy setups on Euro USD, we should look for sell setup on USD CHF. As you can see on 1 hour time frame, since the 3rd of August, you will see that USD CHF has been in a range. It has been in a range. If your strategy is a trending strategy, you would have had difficult time making profits on USD CHF. It would have been a difficult time trading USD CHF. Price has been in a range from the 3rd of August. Okay. Not only from the 3rd, from around 31st of July, it has been in a range. This is bad market. This is bad market. Okay. In a ranging market, most times your stop loss will be hunted for. They will always kiss your stop loss because the market is not in a clear direction. It's not trending. Okay. So what's my take on USD CHF? Let's start with the weekly. What do we have on the weekly? Okay, what we have here is a bullish setup, right? This is a bullish setup. We can't jump in to sell based on what the formation we have here. But let's go down to lower time frame, daily. If we can find a resistance on the daily time frame, we might consider selling. If we can find a resistance on the daily time frame, we might consider selling. Okay, so we had a resistance. Price has been testing this level. Has tested this level several times. So if there's a breakout from this resistance, then we should expect more bullish move on USD CHF. Where would be the next target? This previous support on resistance. Okay, that will be the next target. As you can see, we have liquidity void at this level. You can see So this void might be filled. So if this zone is broken, then we should see price aim for this previous support turn resistance. Okay, but if a support is broken, last week we had a support at this level. Okay, if this support is broken, let's go to 4-hour. Okay, good. We also had a previous support here. So if this support is broken, we should expect bearish move on USD CHF. If the support is broken, we should expect more bearish move, and it's likely price will drop to this support. Okay, so that will be all for this week, for tonight's session. Okay, someone said we should look at New Zealand CHF. Okay, what's your take on Euro Aussie, GBP JPY? I'm expecting more bearish move on Euro Aussie, and on GBP JPY, I'm expecting a bearish move on GBP JPY. Few minutes, please. So let's quickly look at Euro Aussie. So let's start with the weekly. Strong indication that the buyers are still in control. This resistance was broken. That was 2 weeks ago. Resistance was broken, so the buyers are still in control. Okay. But entering a buy, as far as I'm concerned, at this price is at a higher risk. This is where price started going up. So if you are not entered after a candle close above the high of this spending bottom or around these levels, buying at this level, as far as I'm concerned, is at a very high risk. If you're considering buying, I would suggest you should wait for a pullback. Wait for a pullback to Fibonacci level 50 or 69.0 before you consider buying. We should see a pullback on Euro Aussie before you buy. Okay. Let's go down to daily. Let's see what we had on daily. Okay. Last Friday candle closed as a doji, which indicates change in trend. Okay. So if Monday candle closes bearish, we should expect more bearish move on Euro Aussie. We cannot jump in and start selling because of the doji candles information. No, we have to wait for the next candle to close bearish before we sell. Now, if you don't want to wait for the next candle to close bearish, the daily candle to close bearish before you sell, what I would suggest you do is identify support and resistance on 4-hour time frame. So our previous resistance to support on 4-hour is this. We also had a previous resistance turn support. If a 4-hour candle closes below this zone, this support zone on Euro Aussie, okay, you might want to consider selling Euro Aussie. Personally, if a 4-hour candle closes below this level, I'm taking a sell trade on Euro Aussie you can see we have several candlestick formation indicating change in trend. So all I just need to see is a 4-hour candle close below these lows. You can see that is when I will consider selling Euro Aussie. So my bias on Euro Aussie this week is bearish. It is bearish. Okay, you could apply Fibonacci to know how far price will drop, what level you should consider buying for those who are considering buying from this swing low to the current swing high. So we should expect price to pull back to at least level 61.8 or 50 before we consider buying. That's my take on Euro Aussie. Okay. New Zealand CHF. Market has opened. Okay, let's start with the weekly. Okay. So last week candle closed is bearish. So the trend is still bearish. Okay. The trend is still bearish. You cannot buy New Zealand CHF at the moment. You can't buy. Okay. The trend is still bearish. If you are considering buying, go down to daily. Let's see what we had on daily. Okay, last Friday candle was also strongly bearish. Let's go to 4-hour. Do we have a support on 4-hour? Okay, last week candle closed as we had spiraling bottoms indicating change in trend. But as you can see, price gapped at the open of the market. You can see it gapped. Okay, let's see what we had on 1 hour. So at the moment, like I said, the trend is still bearish. If you are considering buying, price should break this resistance. The 4-hour candle should close above this zone before you consider buying. That's my take on New Zealand CHF. It would not be wise to sell at the current market price. That would not be a smart move. Price has already moved. It has gone far. So entering a sell at the current market price, for me, it doesn't make sense. Okay, this is where you should have entered. This is where price started dropping. If you didn't enter at this level, you should have entered after the close of this candle. If you didn't enter at this level, you should have at least entered at this level. From this point to this point is how many pips? 175 pips. Why would you want to join a trade that has moved in your direction 175 pips? If you execute the trade now, you are most likely going to set your stop loss, maybe using the high of this candle or the high of this candle. And if you use these highs, there's a high probability that they will hunt for your stop loss before price start pushing down. The reasonable place to set a stop loss if you want to sell would be maybe this high or this high. That would be the reasonable place to set your stop loss. So the question you want to ask yourself is, are you willing to take the risk? If you decide to sell from this point, you're setting your stop loss at this level. That was 119 pips. If you set it at this level, that's about 195 pips. Yes, like I said, you can set your stop loss 30 pips, 20 pips, 40 pips above the current market price. But if you do that, there's a high probability that they will hunt for your stop losses. Okay, so if I'm to trade New Zealand CHF this week, I would look for buy setup. Price should pull back. Let's go to weekly. So you could apply on, let's see daily. Okay, you could apply your Fibonacci from this swing high, or let's go to 4 hour. You could apply Fibonacci from this swing high to this swing low. So if you see price pull back to level 50, 61.8 or 79.0. Okay, so that's my take on New Zealand CHF. If you are considering selling, patiently wait for price to pull back. Okay, wait for price to pull back before you start selling. Okay, so that will be all for tonight's session. On GBP JPY, my bias is bearish. Okay, so if you're considering selling GBP JPY, you could patiently wait for Monday candle to close bearish before you start selling. Wait for the Monday candle to close bearish. Okay, so if Monday candle closes bearish, then this breakout would be a false breakout. Okay, this breakout will be a false breakout if Monday candlestick closes bearish. A lot of retail traders will jump in and start buying, right? Because they see this as a valid breakout. Many retail traders will jump in. Okay, so you should wait for Monday candle to close bearish before you sell. At the moment, the buyers are still in control. Buyers are still in control. Okay, so that will be all for tonight's session. I appreciate you all for your participation. Okay, any question? You have any question? You can.
Display.
Oh, sorry, you guys have not been hearing me. Okay, I think my mic was muted. So I appreciate you guys for your participation. Okay, there are no questions. We can end this session. I wish you all a profitable trading week. Do have a wonderful night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.